And then lastly, I want to just talk about where we are as a party. We're in a precarious spot as a nation and often at a loss to figure out what we do about it. But that's why we're here, to do something about it. What I think we need to do about it is use every tool at our disposal to fight the left and to preserve American values. That's our goal. Our goal is to make a difference in people's lives. Now, that talks about what our role is as a political party. And I think that's what we've changed. We've changed the game, not only in Texas, but across the country. I just got a text from a friend of mine in Florida who just adopted legislative priorities for the first time and is working with his chair to do so on a state level in Florida. And they said the Republican Party of Texas was their inspiration. So what's the role of a political party? If you're in virtually every other state, if you're if you're running a political party elsewhere, I think the common view was accepting the argument that as a political party, our only job is to elect Republicans and then stop. We're effectively supposed to be, have no other purpose to raise money and then get involved in elections. Well, that's really important, very important. It's not the only thing we need to do to accomplish our purpose of changing policy. I mean, think about it, right? You have states, well, in Texas, I've always heard the argument, if all we need to do is increase our majorities, and then we can implement all the policy you need. But we have case studies in Wyoming, in West Virginia. They're not doing that. Look at this past week. What was in the news? What was the most important thing in the news that you were frustrated about in the last week? Border bill, exactly. And who on the Republican side proposed that border bill? James Lankford, who comes from a state that has not voted for a Democrat in a presidential election in any of its 70 plus counties. Not a single county in the state has voted for a Democrat since last century. And yet that was the product. So I think the biggest con that has been propagated against grassroots Republicans is that you have no other job other than to be a cheerleading society for anyone with an R next to their name. And you don't deserve a seat at the table. Lobbyists deserve a seat at the table and no one complains who's in government. Donors have a seat at the table. Corporations have a seat at the table. But you're supposed to sit back and be a cheerleading society? You run a party that every single elected official depends upon in order to get elected, because none of them are getting elected unless they associate with the Republican Party. That's why we don't have any independence in state government or the state legislature. So you deserve to define what that R means. And I think that if you hold that view, the Texas GOP has been the most successful political party in the country. Because number one, we've been winning elections, won every statewide office in the last 30 years. And not only that, but in the last 2 years and all your terms, well, most of your terms, we've increased our margins in the 2022 election for the first time since 2014. We won every statewide office by double digits, and we outperformed the polling, where in other states, Republicans were underperforming the poll. And lastly, you are exerting influence to change our state. You are. There's a reason why you are taking flack. Sometimes change is very hard for people, and they resist it. And you're seeing that. But what are we seeing happen with all of that friction? You are seeing office holders, Republican Party office holders and grassroots uniting behind a common cause like never before. You're seeing the governor travel the state. And he is doing a tremendous job this year on policy, on the border, traveling the state, getting involved in primaries, and he deserves our support. And I support him for it. We are seeing issues in the state house as the state party is involved, running informational ads, talking about Democrat chairs in individuals' districts. We're talking about the Paxton impeachment in people's districts. We're talking about issues and informing our voters, right? And we're going to deal with a censure today. Someone whose district looks a lot different now because of our involvement. And let me tell you, when this election happens in March, we have a chance to change the state of Texas. Because if we come out of that primary with results like a lot of people think we're going to come out of that primary with, the whole political game changes and the incentives change. And whoever the next person is that leads us in the House or is a state legislator, they're going to know we can't empower Democrats. No more. And I'm putting too much, I can't say it enough. I want to thank Greg Abbott, our governor, for messaging the Democrat chair issue in virtually every stop he's gone to. And I am thankful to our governor for doing that. Because as he says, when you empower Democrats, you by definition disempower Republicans. And that's what we've been saying. So what I'd encourage you to do is pat yourself on the back, keep your eye on the ball. Sometimes change is uncomfortable, but the change you're making for the party is for the better of our society and our state. Support the candidates you support in primaries, our conservative candidates that will support our values. Attend your convention, fundraise for the party, encourage people to join the grassroots club. And I just want to say thank you for all you've done and for all you're going to do.